Hello, this is going to be a video about all the building pieces and placeables that are available in the Dungeon Assets mod, Amunets Dungeon Assets mod. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the HP on the building pieces. So as you can see, it has 1 million HP, but she's going to change it to, like you see here, 10 million. Some of them don't have it yet, but it will basically make them indestructible. So players who want to hurt your dungeon or just try to be funny blowing up your dungeon will not be able to destroy all your work. The next thing, this video is basically to show you what is available and answer a lot of the questions that players have after installing this mod and messing around with all the building pieces. Here you see a lineup of all the locks that are available, and then there's also a random button who will be you will be able to place it anywhere you want, and it will trigger the door the door you want to open without players having to first find a key or something else to open the door. Then we have the recess, and if we take a bunch of these lock keys, then you will see that they are placeable in here. You can place them on the floor, or you can place them just on the map. Just remember that it's a really small item, so it's not going to... Can I interact with it? Yes, so yeah, decay is off, of course. But you can place these anywhere. And it will be for the players to pick them up to open the doors. Oh. All right. So this can be used as an actuator. So as you can see, it can be programmed same way as a lock or a button or whatever. Then we have the altar of V. It doesn't do anything, and we talked about it, and maybe we can change it. So let's say you find a skull in the dungeon. Has to be not just a random skull, but a placeable skull that will be added in the assets mod. And you can place it inside here to open a door or whatever you need to do. Then to something I forgot, and I'm quickly gonna backtrack on it. If you want to find all these building pieces, then you go to your admin panel. Also, the question to make it available for players, it will not be. It's only for admins and dungeon masters to use. You can give it to your players, but there's no stability penalty on these building pieces, so keep that in mind, because people will end up with some really weird structures if they want to, or really ugly structures, rather say. So if you want to find the dungeon master assets, you type DM, go to building, and then you get all the dungeon master assets and placeables. Then there is ADA. I don't remember the short terms for this, but it gives you the list with the ADA. And then we have the CA. And this will give you a whole list of all the Conan assets. These are all placeables cut, copy pasted, and assembled from the vanilla into decoration and all kinds of things. But we will come to that at the end of this tour. Then we have the wall with blood on it. We have the breakable wall. If you punch this wall, it will break and you can get through it to the next room. For some reason, my screen is all blurry, but it will catch up soon, I hope. Yes, if you let somebody go through your dungeon and they break this wall to get to the next room, you will have to go inside your dungeon and repair this wall like this. The player will not be able to do this because there's a land claim on it. So just keep that in mind when building something, that if you implement some things, it will require you to go back inside and fix it afterwards. Same with the keys. If you place these keys here, there's no option for it to respawn the key after a certain amount of time. So you will have to keep that in mind. Then we have wall clean B. It's somewhere here. It should be a little bit further, but it just happened to be here. Then we have the different colors of the buttons, and we will come to more information on that, but this is basically a button and you push it and that's it. Then we have the hidden buttons. It's hidden in the wall there. I don't know if you can see it, but you can hear when I interact with it, it works. You don't have to go into first person anymore to use this, to push this button, which will make a lot of players happy and a lot of admins too, because it was a pain in the ass to help to make people understand that the hitboxes on these buttons were really small, but she changed it so they are bigger. It's better now. Then we have the cross button, just a different style of button. Then we have the decoration wall with the demon head, and we have the demon head with blood. We talked about this, and maybe we will turn it into an actuator later on, where you put a heart of a hero in its mouth here, and it will turn out like this, and it will open a door. More decoration. This is the fence. Beautiful fence, easy to place, and you can put up signs under an angle on it, and it also stacks in the recess that we will come to in a bit, and it allows for really strong builds. Not that we need it after the boost to up to 10 million, but it's something to keep in mind. You can also use it as decoration. Then we have the wall fountain. Yes, DM wall fountain dry and wet. And this is actually something you can drink of. You can see it here in the bottom, in the top left corner of the screen. Then we have the wall illusion. You can just walk through this wall. It's to add another challenge to your dungeon or to trick players into thinking that there's no way out of the room. The big button, the levers. Then we have Liegen, wall Liegen. This is just a type of moss growing somewhere on planet Earth, and that's why it is called Liegen. Then we have moss A, B, and the whole series. And if you look at A and B, there's not much difference to it. The only way you are really going to see this is if you line up 10 walls of full A, DM wall moss full A, and then put one wall of DM wall moss full B in between them. So the differences are really small, and just keep it in mind that it will not be game breaking if you don't mix up your walls too much. But for advanced builders, it's fun to mess around with this and to give a really immersive feeling to the players using this. Outlet dry, outlet wet, just decoration. This is the recess. You can basically stack a wall in front of this, or like I said before, the fence. So you put a statue in here or whatever you want to place in there, and then you can put the fence in front of it. Wall scratch, just a decoration. Then we are coming to the wall with the shooters, and she's going to mess around with some of the arrows that can be placed inside the wall, so you should be able to adjust the damage to it in the future. But again, be patient because it all is a lot of work, and we just went over this and I gave her a lot of questions and she wrote a lot of the things down, so don't expect to have this all fixed and set up in just a couple of days. Damage will be adjustable in the future too, so we will see when this will come, and I will definitely give you feedback and an update on it once it's done. Small crack is just decoration. We talked about, like in the old Indiana Jones movie, where there's a blade coming out of the wall. When you step on a plate, for instance, here, that will be something she said was a really good idea, and she will try to implement it. Then we have the wall where you can write a text on. Then we have the windows. The reason that this wall is thicker than the other windows is because it has to be three-dimensional, and all the other walls are one-dimensional except for a few. There will not be bigger windows. This is what you get, and we'll just have to live with it. Then we come to the curtains. You punch them and they break. Again, if you want to repair them, it's not automated, so you'll have to go in the dungeon and repair it after the players. The reason that this is not called breakable is because it was first implemented as a non-breakable item. So keep that in mind. Yeah, just the different colors. Yes, we talked all about all that. Yes, we move on. Let's say you want to hide an exit to the next room. You can do it like this. Just take a breakable wall and add a curtain in front of it. Then we have some more decoration. And then we have the ivy. The ivy only stacks, is only possible to place when it is supported by a ceiling. So keep that in mind. Maybe more variations will come in the future, but for now it is what it is. So some more decorations, and this is called the DM wall portrait. If you want to have this portrait on your wall with a picture in it, first thing you need to do is place the wallpaper against the wall and then place the portrait over it. That way it will appear inside the picture frame, and this will allow you to create a 3D effect. Not like I did it here with the wallpaper on top of the portrait, because then it looks like it's floating in front of it. So this is called the receptor. This receptor will only be able to be programmed when you have building damage on. If it can't take any damage in a PvE server, you can't damage it. And there's something really cool about a lot of these switches and actuators that I've shown you so far. If you name this the same way as a teleporter receiver and you punch it, you get teleported to this item called ADA Trigger Teleport. This ADA Trigger Teleport has to have the same name, and you will be able to teleport your players to wherever you want on the entire map. Then we quickly fly back to where we were here. Then we have the bookshelf. It's just a decoration. Let's see what we have here. Players have been asking to make it possible to hide keys in the coffins. It is possible to do it, but you have to keep in mind that the hitbox for the breakable item, in this case like this, is in front of where the key is. So you will have to break it, put the key inside, and then go under an angle, avoiding the key from being picked up again, and close it. She will make a shelf inside this coffin so that you can put a key in there and then close it so the key is not hidden inside. It's already hard enough, I guess, to go in there to figure out that the key might be in a coffin. Just a decoration, that guy in the closet or in the coffin. And then we have the bookshelf recess. It's called, it's recess shelf, yeah. The normal recess. And then this will be probably turned into an actuator too. Not for now, it's just decoration, but if you pull the wall ring, it will be possible to program it so it will open a door. Then we have the sconce, DM Wall Sconce. If you put a torch in here, it can light up the room, but it can also be used as a actuator. So if you look at it, edit, you can. This is actually an actuator, and you can open a door if somebody puts a sconce in there. What you will notice too is that anything that has in their code the label torch will be possible to place in here and to act as an actuator. So for decoration purposes, it is possible to place random, well, I will show you all these different torches in there. This one is named torch, but it's not labeled as a torch in the code. So if you place this in here, it won't do anything. Then Halenor was here too. It's just a plate that I put up. And then we have here just decoration to make a wall look like there was a shelf on here or something like this. It's not breakable. I asked her to make it breakable, but it's not possible for her to do this. Then we have the drainage, large and small. And as you can see, they run down to the floor pretty far. And it's to give them this look that they go down. So keep that in mind when placing it. Making it breakable so people can jump in it to the next room is not possible. Yeah, so that's it about that. Then we have decoration cave-in ceilings. Different ceilings. They don't look very different to me, but they are sometimes they are flat, or they are like they leave light inside or something like this. Very detailed stuff. I would suggest to mess around with it when you have a lot of time. You can see it here too. One is to make a flat ceiling, and the other one is to make a supported ceiling. Then we have the lanterns, who can be turned on and off, and also be, if you build this in a dungeon and you put a trigger on top here, it will turn the light on and off depending on the actuator you have installed to communicate with the trigger. Then for the decoration, fine spiderweb and large spiderweb. It's it depends on your graphics, and it will not show if your graphics are too low. So keep that in mind too when you building with this stuff. It will not render for you, but for someone with a high-end graphics card, it will render. Then we have the hatch. This hatch will not open when you are standing on top of it, and it will also not open if you want to. If somebody pushes a button there and you're standing on top of it, it will not open for you. So keep that in mind when pushing people through a dungeon, because they might never find the exit if they are standing on top of what you want them to open. Some more ceilings or floors. Then we come to more decoration, pile of dirt or pile of sand, grass and summer grass, I call it. It didn't get enough water or something, I don't know. Some mossy floors. These spores are breakable and you can repair them, and the gas will damage the players who don't own it. Mushrooms can be broken. Door frames. I have the LDPR, less building restrictions mod on this server, and it will allow me to snap 4 of these in a circle. But if you don't have this mod, you will not be able to close a full circle. So keep that in mind when building with it. Skeleton, decoration, decoration, decoration. These coffins are breakable if I can hit them. Yeah. Let's see, do we have something here? Yes. Yes, so you can break these coffins. And then repair them again. Carpet. We talked about turning this bed into a spawn point for players so they can save their progress in a dungeon. The problem is she can do it, but if someone else, let's say they are with 3 people in the dungeon, and the first one saves his location here, the issue is that it's with a land claim, and she can fix that. But the problem is the next guy coming will update here too. So if one of them dies, he will end up in the desert, and if both of them die, only one will be able to return to this point. The throne doesn't do anything. It's just decoration. And this is called the cube, door frame secret cube. So this cube can move up and down. And if you don't have the LBPR mod, you will have to place all your walls around it and your floor below it before you place this. Otherwise, you won't be able to place any walls around it or below it. Then we come to the doors. There you will see, if you go into the list of building pieces, that there are 2 types of stone door frames. One is called door frame stone white, like this one, and the other one is just called door frame stone. The reason for this is pure aesthetics. So as you can see now, I don't see the door on this side of the wall. That's because the door frame stone white is placed in the right position. But if I take this door out and I bring it to the wooden door frame and I open the door, you can see the door slides half and half. For me, I could care less, but It's just so you know that this is available to you if you want to build beautiful dungeons, which makes sense to have the door open at the back here, yeah? So, yeah, I'm just mentioning it so you can keep an eye on it. These are all the different doors available in the game. The whole lineup is here. And then she will also make it possible to, well, she will look into it. Everything I say in this video, by the way, is she will look into it, yeah, and try to implement it. It's not always possible. So, but if you interact with this door, you can. It's just a door, yeah, but there's a lock on it. So why can't we use a key to open this door directly instead of always putting up triggers and all kinds of things to open a door? And she said, I will look into it, try to fix it. Then we have the broken Portcullis doors. So these doors are broken, they can still open. Pure decoration, but there is a door that can be broken. So keep that in mind. Again, you will have to go in the dungeon to, and it can be opened and closed. So just use your imagination on this. Then different colors will come for the door of Ra. Probably base colors like red, blue, and green. But just having those 4 variations will make it really fun in combination with colored buttons to build dungeons with this. The different doors, some of them can be broken, as you can see. They are listed under DM vertical door wood breakable. All the different types of doors. And then we come to the magic hatch. So this can be placed without having a hatch frame around it. And yeah, mess around with it, play with it. Then the different pillars. As you can see, there's not much difference to these 2 stone pillars, but this one is stone, just stone, and this is stone ground. If you look at the ground, you can see there's this, yeah, it almost looks like cement to fix this stone for before going up, and this is a clean setup. So it's up to you to use this. Then we have the beam. To some ceilings, flat ceilings don't have this support beam, but if you use ceiling and floor, which I recommend using everywhere in the beginning, otherwise you will end up with big problems trying to clean up your dungeon afterwards. And I'm saying this because if we fly down here, you can see that this beam is already in there. And I built with nothing else than this DM, ceiling, and floor. Why? Because I can build down from it. And as you can see, there's no stability penalty on this mod, so you will have to build out and then down to basically cover up this ugly gap below your dungeon, if you're building on the map, of course. This is called DM pillar cave-in. It functions as a pillar. So it has a snap point to it, everything. But this should be used because if you look at the back, it's not doesn't make a lot of sense that it's still a pillar that functions, yeah? So the reason for this is that it's actually a caved in hallway. Let's say I put up walls like this and this. You see now what you get. You get this caved in hallway look. That's what we basically do with this thing. Yes, all the different pillars. And then there's some decoration like a chain. Um, you can hang it, it hangs over this support beam. Um, then we have some nails and some chains. And there was a lantern here. Yeah, there's no flame in it, but it gives light. Then we have a fence. This fence can be used for different types of things. Use your imagination. Then we have the stairs. Pretty difficult to clean up if you want to hide the stairs from the entire room, but it is possible. Just mess around with it and eventually you will figure it out. As you can see here, there's a difference in lowering the level. Yeah, this one doesn't end up 2 foundations lower. So keep that in mind when building these stairs. And also these stairs are specifically designed to have portals inside them. So it will basically notify, or it will not notify, but it will show a player that this is the end of this room, and then you can teleport them to another room. So basically put a portal in there. Then we have the normal stairs, and then we have stairs long up. This is a ceiling actuator. So if you push with your head against it, it will allow you to um, open a door by hitting it with your head. This is a plate. And then we have something called trap rotators. If you look at it, it says trigger delay seconds 180, but it should be trigger degrees, so, or delay degrees. So I filled in 180 degrees. Let's go out of it, and let's say we are walking in a dungeon and we walk against this. You see, it turned me 180 degrees. If somebody is rushing through the dungeon, and you put this down in a long hallway and they walk into it, they could be running in the wrong direction without knowing it, thinking they are glitched or something. Let's say I turn it into 90 degrees. You see, now it will turn me 90 degrees in a direction. If you want to get through this, you go like this and then you walk back. So that's the way to get through this trap rotator. So now you know what it does. This will be probably adjustable in the future too, the spikes. So it can actually do damage to players who have high armor or a server where there is high. This is just trigger plates. Then what do we have here? It's just a trigger, but it's hidden. Did I forget something? Oh no, we're almost there. This is a teleporter. This is called unstable. Why is it called unstable? Because you can delay the time that it takes for the player to actually get warped to the next location. So you can set it to 10, 15, 50, whatever. Then we have the receiver for the teleport. It's called ADA Trigger Teleport. And the reason that it's in a different class is because it's not supposed to be seen by other players, by the players in the dungeon. So they walk into this blue cloud, which will also be available in different colors in the future. This is listed under ADA. So just keep that in mind when looking for this thing. It is called ADA Trigger Teleport. Then we have the normal one, DM Trap Teleporter. It just teleports you to this piece here if it has the same name programmed into it. I'll show you one more time. So this name has to be the same as this one. I highly recommend taking a piece of paper and writing down all your triggers and teleports because it can get pretty ugly once you start typing in the same triggers all over the place, or you are starting with another admin in your server going through all this. Then we have the ADA Foundation, and it is one big black ugly thing, but you can use it to your advantage. Like I did here, you can create some really cool psychedelic effects. People will be, if they only have this skull as reference point in this room here, they will be running against a wall like this, thinking they are getting away from the creatures, but they are basically just standing in one place. This is an issue, and the problem is called set fighting. So if you want to avoid this, then you will have to make sure your ADA ceiling is not overlapping with building pieces. The only way to really come to deal with this, to allow yourself to access this room, is to place these foundations or these ceilings here. So it's out of this set fighting glitch. And I haven't messed around with it yet, but you can maybe use the magic bridge to make really cool effects. It's this, yeah, you've seen it. It's over there where my white marker is. But if you have like 3 or 4 different colors, you can make some really cool things. And this is basically to wall off your dungeon. Let's say you're building a labyrinth and you don't want people to look inside while you are building it. Then you can take these big walls and just snap them all together in a few minutes to cover up your whole dungeon. Also, you see this line here. If you want to avoid this line from happening, you will have to make sure, I don't know if I can show you, because you see the lines are right on top of each other. So it gives this open look, but here it is lined up like it should be. It's difficult to see when it's all black on black, but you get the point, right? You don't have the line there, and there you can clearly see there's still light coming in. So that will be something you have to pay attention to when building with these building pieces. Then we have the trigger delay, the mask, and the trigger target. I explained those in another video. Then we have the lava. Always be careful when you place the lava because it will kill you in God mode also. So it is possible to get to it, but you will have to find the center of this square, going closer and closer, slowly trying to interact with it to take it away. We talked about this issue. You walk against the wall and you get acid. She's not going to change anything about it. She said it's basically bad dungeon design and you have to calculate it when you are going to build a dungeon room with this acid or with the lava. Because if you walk to the corner of the lava when it's glitching through the wall like this, you will also die. So don't put your players through unnecessary suffering because you made a bad or poor planning of your dungeon layout. This is again the set fighting, nothing you can do about it. You just have to calculate it so it fits in the right lineup. You will still see the line, but you will not have this ugly effect. This is where we come to, don't tell me I lost my torch. Yes, that thing over there is called the ADA weather control stick, and it allows for making it dark in your dungeon. And it can get really dark in here. For now, it's not possible to adjust it, but it will be adjustable in the future. So it also adds a really cool glow to the building pieces and everything that surrounds it. And she will make it possible so you can adjust it, or it will be like bigger, 20 by 20 instead of now it's 1, 2, and then you are out of it. So this will be turned into a bigger area. Okay. Oh yeah, don't overlap them, yeah, because you will get the same thing as here, set fighting. You will have this, but over your entire screen. If you place one like this and another one too close, and players walk into it and they come into the overlap, they will constantly have this, but really fast. So keep that in mind too when you are building with this stuff. Then we come to the final and last thing. This is the carpet again. This is a tree cluster of 3 trees. And the really cool thing about what she did to this is that it's possible to make different combinations. As you can see here, there are 6 or 7 decorations on top of each other. And let's say you add like, this is a 1 seabed, what's it called here? No, it's not called ceiling and floor. Yeah, it's a water plant. And if you place this, excuse me, to this on this ceiling, then you can place it again and again and again up until 8 times, and every time it will change position, as you can see here, and you get a really cool variation in density of plant foliage. So you can create really dense forests with this. Same with the lineup of the stones here. You can fence decoration, small rocks. If you just keep spamming up to 8 times, you get this really dense wall, or you can just make it really thin. It's up to you. Then we have the CA button, map room pedestal. It's not in the list with the DM. Why? Because it is made from Conan assets. That's why it is in the CA. So if you want to use this button, it works exactly the same like the other actuators. You just send this signal to a trigger and it will open or close the door. And it has this cool light effect on it. What's next? This bush. It's a you can't walk through it, yeah. You see, but you can climb over it. So keep that in mind when placing this. It's not a normal vanilla bush. You can use it to block people from going in certain directions. If you can make combinations with these trees, people are not just gonna do like I'm doing now, climb over your entire forest, trying to get through a dungeon room. They will stay. It's in their nature to look down and to try to get through the forest like this, yeah. And this will help you direct them in certain areas to your dungeon. Some more decoration variations, and some more and some more and some more. What do we have here? Yeah, no water in the fountain. It's not important for people who watch this. Then we have this beautiful little stone that you can place you have to place it on this, yeah. But if you place a foundation, you can place this thing anywhere you want, and you can basically create your own mountain. Not like that one, but at least it will give you the ability to stop using like endless rows of walls to close off a big area. You can use this rock to, yeah, just use it to your imagination. I bet you are very creative with it. Smaller rock, and then we have a beautiful rock here. It's basically, it looks like a node, just copy pasted from a iron node or something like this. What does it say here? Different rocks may be coming. So I talked to her and I said, yeah, but if I want to build a dungeon in the desert, and then she said, yeah, but if you want to build a dungeon in the desert, you go ahead and build it, but I'm not going to make desert rocks and then snow rocks and other rocks and other rocks. This is what you get, yeah. So it is what it is. And then she took the volcano forge, cut this piece out, and called it Serpent Man Forge. So this can be used as decoration. What I like to do with this is to place it in my castle and put 2 or 3 bonfires in there, and then clean it up with walls at the back. Then you have a fireplace worth mentioning in your castle. Because let's be honest, the fireplace that we have now, it's for a Northheimer hut, not for a castle. And then the tree clusters work the same way as the lineup that we showed here. You can make really dense tree clusters and really stack up to 8 different trees in one foundation. And then we have here something the vanilla should have done a long time ago. Take stability away on wood bridges. So if you are in the jungle building up in a tree and your base has become too small, you can just connect these bridges endlessly to the other side without having to place these ridiculously thin sticks 20 foundations down to get support on the ground. So I really, really appreciate and like this building piece a lot. And for the people who want a clean look, it's not possible. She's not a 3D paint, 3D designer or anything. She can only copy paste things that are available in the vanilla code and in the vanilla placeables with the Unreal Editor or Unreal Engine dev kit, and that's what she has to do this. That's it. We are done with it. And I want to thank you all for watching, and I really hope that this will take some of your questions away, and I am going to make a lot more movies or videos about this, so keep an eye on them for updates and other stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.